Let's go.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm here with Martin to review Sunderland 1, Aston Villa 1, but that doesn't tell the full story. Sunderland with 10 men for 65 minutes of that game. Aston Villa just slow, lethargic, poor performance, couldn't get the victory, and Unai Emery's interview and post-match comments leaving us with a lot more questions and food for thought that we're going to get right into. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you help us on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Get your comments in as well. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know whether it's players, Unai, transfers, recruitment, whatever it is, what is happening at the moment with Aston Villa. We'll get all the comments out tonight. I've had my say on the instant reaction. We were chatting backstage, Martin. Good to see you, mate. But I just want to know what your thoughts are on what the hell is going on right now.
Truth be told, I don't know, and forgive me if it's a bit dark in here, folks, just the way the light, unfortunately, is set up in this room. Look, there's a few things that I think I need to get off my chest about this situation. The body language for me just looks off with Aston Villa. I just remember when Emery had the group of players there around in a match, and it just looked off. It didn't look like they were listening or they were engaging into what Unai was saying. It just looked very lackluster. It wasn't if they were listening to him. It was just all off, you know what I mean? It just didn't look right with me. And performances as of late, just, I don't know what it is. It's like they haven't had a pre-season, and that's kind of an annoying thing as well. And one big thing for me, obviously, is this report coming out that supposedly there's a bit of a uncomfort in the dressing room with not being able to add quality players to, you know, the team. But the players should know themselves that the club was in this predicament. The club couldn't go and sign somebody of an equal quality player to say to the player next to them and be able to, you know, produce the same thing that they have. But in saying that, they should still be able to perform because they still have the man next to them. They have the players next to them who they trust. So why shouldn't they be able to do this? And if that, and it's kind of insulting to the players who have joined as well, Richard. That could also cause that the discomfort, you know, an insult to Harvey Elliott, insulting Evan Gasson, insulting Jadon Sancho by saying we haven't been able to add real quality. We have 3 players here who've added. Now, I'm not saying that these signings are quality or they're crap or whatever they are. They still need time to adjust and everything else. And that's completely fine. That's what's going to happen with every single signing. We've seen it with Tielemans. We've seen it with Rodgers. To turn around and say, we haven't done this, we haven't done that. It just seems like it's a blame game at this minute, and it's kind of showing on the pitch. And another, well, when Unai Emery was walking down the tunnel before the final whistle, that spoke volumes for me. Was it a case of, is it a frustration with him? Players are not listening to what I'm saying anymore. And I'm getting this weird feeling from me, Rich, which I put out a tweet, and it seems to be a good talking point at this minute. I'm getting a weird feeling Unai Emery might walk away from Aston Villa.
Well, we'll get into that in a second, but let me bring Mark in. Mark, great to have you back on the show, mate. I want to know your thoughts before I get into the comments. What? I know you've been on our chat group as well. What the hell is going on right now? As Martin's just said there, are the players just not playing for the manager? Is it a frustration in terms of changing of tactics? Are the ideas that Unai is trying to put across not getting through? Do they not understand? Like, what is it?
It's a difficult one, Rich, isn't it? Because it's the same crop of players. We've introduced 2 or 3 players since the transfer window. I mean, yeah, I'm absolutely. I want to come on and say a few things, but I'm that frustrated. I can't even say what I want to say because there isn't a lot to say. And I think looking at do you know what? We went a goal up today, and I watched it with my family, and I said to my boys, "You watch in the last season and a half, I would say, every time we go a goal up, we seem to think we won the game. And all of a sudden, down that right-hand side from their kickoff, when we scored, we got the ball back. And then Kashi decides to tippy-tappy with a couple of the players around him. And then the ball goes back again. Then it goes back again. Within 2 minutes, it's now in our box again. And within another 2 minutes, they've scored again. So they seem to, for whatever reason, they go a goal up and they take the foot off the gas. And there's so many games. I mean, look at the games we should have put away last season. Ipswich again against 10 men. And we couldn't even do that. And we drew twice against them last season. I think they were the two games that cost us Champions League, not the last game of the season, by the way, because Ipswich obviously were there for the taking. And where are they now? So, there's a lot of games that we should have won. I think there's a lot of complacency. I think there's some players that think they're bigger than what they are and better than what they are. Unai's done well to get, I think, the best out of what he's got. But I think also at the same time, Unai, I think, is slowly losing the trust of the players. You can see that. You can see it. You can see the confidence is low. You don't know what they're going to be doing from 1 week to the next. Nobody's there to take any responsibility. And there just seems to be a lack of cohesion and even confidence.
Yeah, it's a couple of things. You see, Martin made a comment about the harmony in the squad and the dressing room and the fact that there's players saying that they've maybe not brought enough quality in. And is that... Oh, we lost Mark. We're getting back in a sec. Is it? And you said, is that a kind of criticism of the players that are already that have just come in? Now we'll get on to Evan Gesson in a minute, but that being said, that aside, that's a criticism for some of the players that are already in. And then I said it the other night: is there a feeling in the dressing room that we've been forced to get rid of? Or the perception is we've been forced to get rid of Jacob Ramsey and one or two other players, Leon Bailey, John Duran, who maybe that's not a great example, Moussa Diaby, and we've brought in the perception of the players, lesser quality, but on higher wages, if you like. So Ramsey was on a lower wage than, say, Marlon is. Are the players like thinking, hang on a minute, why are we getting rid of these players? But we're bringing in players on bigger wages and they're not as good? Is that pissing the players off? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot still saying that, Emery's not to blame. If Emery's not to blame, who is to blame? You could keep blaming the players to a degree, and the players obviously step up every single game. They put their boots on and put a Villa shirt on, but they're listening to Emery's tactics week in, week out. We're not the only ones saying it, and I've still got some fans who berated me 10 days ago from that Sky Sports comment I made about the Paul Lambert days. And you know what? It might sound still exaggerated to a lot of fans out there, but it does remind me of those dark days. Not necessarily it's Paul Lambert versus Unai in terms of their stature and their experience and what they've won and haven't won, but it's the uncertainty at Villa Park. And I still think, and I'm still convinced, that the owners and Unai should not have used the PSR, the SCR, rules and the frustrations at the beginning of the season, because that's now filtered down into the dressing room. You could see that when they made their comments. It's bled into the stands because now we're all believing that's the issue. And yes, we can all say that the the Premier League's corrupt and we're only supporting the top six. But how many more times can we keep blaming the PSR and the SCR? There's other teams in that Premier League that haven't got the squad that we've got and the quality of players that we've got, and they're playing much better football week in, week out.
Yeah, I said on my instant reaction, and people can have a watch of it. You know, you can talk about FFP, SCR, PSR till the cows come home. That doesn't stop you from running, doesn't stop you from tackling, doesn't stop you from passing the ball to a teammate. That doesn't stop you from doing that. So, no. or trying to beat a man doesn't stop you from doing that. I mean, you said, Martin, and just responding to what Mark said before about the style of play. I mean, I was in the stands, I'm watching it, and I'm seeing like Ezri Konsa, Tyrone Mings getting the ball, taking 5 or 6 touches, 10 seconds to then just play the ball to Matty Cash when they could have just done it in one touch. And then I'm seeing Matty Cash run with the ball, take it back, give it to the midfielder, get it back, play it up the line, get it back, pass it back to the defender, and then he plays it back across. All these passes could have been done in like 2 or 3 passes. I see Sunderland get the ball with 10 men, and they put us under pressure in 3 passes. Like, what is going on?
Yeah. And they always seem to find more space than we do, don't they, the opposition? You know, when they're breaking against us so far this season, I mean, Sunderland looked like they had 12 players to our 11. Never mind going down to 10 players. So they seem to find space. But you know what? This is what really, excuse my French, pisses me off, though, with the Villa fans, some Villa fans, because I don't see... You see a lot of players from other teams that will come off a pitch, even at 60 minutes, and they're sweating, they're purple in the face. How can sometimes some of the Villa fans, some of the pundits say that Unai needs to rest some players? Because they're playing still walking football. They're not running around that pitch 100 miles an hour. It's literally slow build-up play. How many times they come off with a soaking wet shirt because they're running around that pitch for 90 minutes or 80 minutes or 60 minutes, whatever it will be. It's still that pedestrian style, slow football. And no player should be thinking that they're resting because they're knackered, because they're playing 2 or 3 games a week. Because the style of football we're playing, they shouldn't be knackered.
No.
Exactly. Martin, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in agreement there with Mark. They shouldn't be knackered due to the style of play that we have. And I think one player that we did sign to be able to suit this whole system and the way that we've been playing should have been Pau Torres. Because when Pau Torres was signed, the way that he passes through the line quickly, whether that's transitioning to midfield or straight to attack, we've seen it at times when he was signed that this is what he can do. And suppose he was coming out that when Unai Emery does long meetings and videos, his focal point was always Pau Torres because he's the one who was able to do it best under his system, and even showed the Villa players that before he even signed them. So it goes to show who his focal point was supposed to be. But when it comes to the physicality side of things, these players seem to shy away. And Pau Torres has seemed to be one of that. So even though, we're great on the ball and we shouldn't be knackered, and I'm 100% in agreement with Mark, but at the same time, if you're in the Premier League, not also should you be able to keep the ball for 90, 80 minutes, whatever it is, if we're having this much possession, which we've seen against Sunderland, 70% possession against 10 men, then you also have to have a physical part of your game, because that's what Sunderland done. They just bullied us in the right areas, putting us under pressures at the right time. And the goal that they scored was the laziness of everybody. It's everybody. I can't point at one person. I can't point at Mings. I can't point at Cash. I can't point at Rodgers or Kamara, McGinn. I'm looking at the picture, and I'd seen it, I think Luke Robinson put it when I seen the picture. 4 players just looking at Granit Xhaka. If you're paid hundreds of thousands a week, even if I was on $2,000 a week playing for Aston Villa, you're damn right I'm going to clean Granit Xhaka out of it. Never mind hundreds of thousands. If I was on $2,000 a week, I'm taking him out of that game. And it just didn't seem to happen. And when he held it back, and not even the laziness to get the Granit Xhaka, but I seen the picture then of Tyrone Mings not getting up high enough, our defence not getting up high enough. Because when Sunderland had gone and scored, it could have been a real possibility to put their striker in an offside position had Mings and Konsa just pushed up a little bit more. Yes, it's easier said than done, but that being said, Unai Emery loves the offside trap. Push yourself up the pitch. If you see a striker there, right, get up, get him offside in case Anton flicks on. Simple communication everywhere around the pitch, and it doesn't seem to be that. We're looking at a vocal point. We're trying to look for somebody and be a leader. We don't have that at this moment in time, Rich.
Sam, welcome to the show.
Yeah, sounds fun. Thanks, guys.
Another emergency meeting. What is happening? The floor is yours, mate.
Oh, that's a good question, right? I don't know. It's hard to explain it anymore. It's one of those things where I was like debating whether to come and talk about it because I'm kind of like lost for words. I don't have anything novel for you. I don't have any new words. I don't have any new criticisms or judgments. So it's just the same. It's the same, and that's what's worrying is it's the same. There's no intensity. There's no quality. There's no cohesion. There's no willingness to try and do something. No one's been daring. There's, everyone's playing it safe. How many corners? Another 5 corners where it ended up at the goalkeeper. Defense is a shambles. Their goal. There was 7 people in the box, and one of them was offside. And even then, 6-7 on 1. Just lost the man. Ball watching. Our goal was a ridiculous goal. It should barely even count towards our considerations. If I'm being honest, like it's right at the keeper. Sometimes you make your own luck. You have a pop and you don't buy a ticket. You don't win a raffle and all that. And it felt like the goal. It felt like the kind of goal that was going to be our first goal after the start that we've had. Like you just needed something.
Yeah, just smash it. Yeah.
Just smash it. And I wasn't mad at Kashi for having a punt. But it's just dross all over. I'm guessing you guys have already sort of sorry, Mark, just really quickly. I'm guessing you guys have already broken down the game, but what really got me was after the game was Unai Emery's press conference. I think it was his name, John Howley. He was doing a report on it, and he said that Unai Emery had an issue with Harvey Elliott because he was passing too quickly.
Yeah, I've got a comment. I was going to bring that in. I think Adam made a comment on that.
Unai said that.
Said Emery also pretty much criticised Elliott for making passes in behind. Madness.
Yeah. His mental. He didn't criticise Sancho for. So you know what? Sancho was the shining light of this game because he was standing players up. He was being trying to be skillful. He's trying to do 1-2s with Maatsen. They seem to have a little cohesion and sort of synergy going on. And it's like we're just battering that creativity out of the game. Now, what does he want Elliott to do? We're 20 yards away from goal. They've got every man behind the ball. We don't really know what to do. Just play it quickly. Like every single Villa fan that I've seen has said the same thing. We're too slow. There's no creativity. There's no urgency. We keep getting hit on the counter. Teams know how to play us now, and it's like for Unai Emery to come out after the game and say, Harvey Elliott was passing the ball too quickly. I don't know what he wants. Does he want to send a 5-minute warning before we pass the ball to the other team? I don't know, mate. If I'm being honest, it was a really dire watch, and there are some positives. We scored 2 goals in a week. We didn't lose the game. No, the thing is though, Mark, it's true. You've got to try and find. I'm trying to play devil's advocate with myself here and try and find some positives. But apart from that, I don't know. I don't see.
We didn't lose the game. We drew 1-1 against a team that had 10 men for 65 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, look, we call a spade a spade. They're 7th in the table at the moment, so they're about 10 places above us. They've had a good start to the season. Sunderland invested heavily in the transfer window, and we said this last time we were on the pod, Rich. The league is more competitive. They've gone out and spent money. Every team.
I know, man, but
it's not like last year though. It's not like last year we had the 3 promoted teams who were destined to go down as soon as
we didn't do very well against them.
we didn't, but we did it all right against everyone else to balance itself out. But it's the league is more competitive this year, and you see teams doing well and playing well, and it's just we're not at it. We're not at it, and I can't
To be fair, though, Sam, I mean, Sunderland recruited really, really well. I thought they were the best recruited top side, exceptionally well. Yeah. If they'd have stuck with 11 men today, I firmly believe that they'd have beaten the Villa today. I really do. I really do. And that says it all for me. And it took one player to get sent off for us to have a little bit of a chance against, 10 men. And then when we scored a goal, again, another lucky goal, really. I mean, 2 goalkeeping blunders that's given us our 2 goals this season, which, that's getting poor. It isn't. And the thing for me is we're not creating nowhere near enough chances. And yes, there'll be some saying that Watkins needs 10 chances to score 1, but give him 10 chances because he had 10 chances in the season before and the season before that. But,
don't get Sam started on Watkins.
No, do you know what?
Don't get him started on 2 of them.
No, do you know what? Because I've not said a word about Watkins this season because I've been taking that mindset of, you know what, he's not getting any service and this and that. But it's just he was awful today. Him and Rob,
he's thrown it in, mate. He's thrown it in. He's thrown it in.
And he's just
he was today. Yeah,
he's hiding behind that excuse of not getting the service and this and that. Like the Ollie Watkins of old. Before, last season, the season before he was told to start playing centrally and this and that, he offered so much around the pitch. And that was always the argument to my argument that Watkins shouldn't be our striker. Is look how much he gives to the team. Look what he does. He holds up the ball really well. He chases it. He goes in the channels. He's been abysmal. Like not even trying. He had 4 touches in the first half. And he's just hiding behind the man, never really expecting the ball. I watched the Man City Arsenal game straight after, and if you saw Man City's goal, the way Haaland has adapted his game to, not having so much possession. Now he held up the ball, he came in deep on the halfway line, held up the ball, laid it off, turned, made a run, clinical finish, 1 bang. That's all he needs. And it's like I'm not expecting Watkins to be Haaland, but he can't do what he's doing. You've
got to make it more difficult for the centre backs. Like I don't know what's happening. It's like so many of the players, including Watkins, are just sort of phoning in their performances. It's like they've turned around and said, you know what, I'm just going to do my 9 to 5. I'm just going to clock in and clock out. I'm not going to do any extra. I'm not going to do any extra running. I'm not going to do any extra after training. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to do my 9 to 5. If I get the ball, I'll pass it to another teammate, and then that's it. Like you can't see anyone giving it the extra. Sorry, Martin, I'll come to you in a second. You can't see anyone giving it the extra yard or anything like that at all. It's like they're phoning in their performances. Martin, sorry, mate.
Just quickly, Martin, he wouldn't even stay on side. Like he won't even there were 2 chances that he had today. 2 times the ball fell to him on a rebound, and he can't even be asked to get back on side. He's so far offside. It's not even like a VAR jobby. I'm with you. I think it's crap. Sorry, Martin. You carry on.
No, you're okay, lads. I'm in agreement with Rich. Like these players coming in just not doing enough and just doing the bare minimum of what they're required to do. But do these players not realise this is a World Cup season now? That these players are potentially going to be called to their national teams, going to the World Cup. And now I know Ireland's not in the World Cup. I know it's going to pretty much be England that are going to be guaranteed to try and get there anyway. But the likes of Watkins, Rodgers, Konza, Sancho, who I thought was a shining light today, the ball he played for Watkins on a play. You couldn't have asked for a better ball if he tried, and he just fluffed his lines completely. And for me, if these players, just take Sancho out of the equation there, but the Konzas, the Rodgers, the Ollie Watkins, these players are not going to get called to the World Cup if they keep going the way they're on. And that's just a fact of life. Thomas Tuchel's going to go, right, Ivan Toney has 27 goals there in Saudi Arabia. Ollie Watkins only has probably about, if at the end of the season, say he has about 7, 8, if he's lucky the way he's gone, is going to go, right, Ollie Watkins has 7, 8 goals in the Premier League. Well, I'm taking the 27-goal striker, regardless what league he's in. He's going to go and take Ivan Toney under Harry Kane, because obviously he's going to get a simple call if that's just a fact of life as well. But these players, in my opinion, are just not doing enough. And it's not just that. It could be John McGinn. If Scotland get to the World Cup, if they get through their group stage, that could be John McGinn probably not going if he's not doing enough or the bare minimum. These players need to realise it's World Cup year. I need to impress the national team coaches that are there. to try and be called up.
But that shouldn't be the motivation, Martin. That shouldn't be the motivation. You're playing for Aston Villa. You know what I mean? Like, who cares about the international scene? It doesn't like for me that it's. I get your argument. It's absolutely right. Like even if they don't care about Villa, then they've got their international careers and the rest of it. But even just putting themselves in a shop window, if they want to move or they want out, playing like this isn't going to get you the move that you want to get. But the thing that gets me is about everyone saying, "Oh, the players want out. The players want out." Was I the only one who watched pre-season? Because Watkins looked sharp as attack. Marlon looked good. Like I know that we didn't have we weren't sensational, but we looked really sharp, especially Watkins. Watkins scored in every game.
I know, and we were getting in behind teams. We were creating one-on-one chances. We haven't had a one-on-one chance all season.
Well, apart from Marlon, decided to just
just for to fall over, yeah.
But the question is, why was Ollie Watkins so, obviously in a clear head? He had a nice pre-season, whatever. Why was he so good in pre-season? And he really was. Even I was sitting there going, Christ, you can't argue with this. He's playing 45 minutes a game and he's scoring every single game and good goals as well. And good link-up play. Him and Marlon looked like they had a good thing. So if there is this discontent, and Jacob Ramsey had already gone at this point, and the Emery Martinez saga, they would have known about it since last time. What's changed? How has the level of all these players dropped so drastically from pre-season, where we were smashing up Roma by 4 goals? And that doesn't make sense to me. I don't know where that's come from.
I couldn't tell you. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Someone's phone's going.
Yeah.
I thought Mike was going.
Let me get into some comments because I've started a few, and then I want to talk about a couple of things with Unai as well. Danny said the fans should get behind Emery to show these players it's them on the chopping block. LG said end of the season, a total rebuild is needed. 16 Smith players started today. Kevin said Bologna has to be the turning point. Emery's got to learn. Start picking Sancho, Maatsen and Elliott for F's sake. Emery also pretty much criticised Elliott for making passing behind. Madness, says Adam. Yeah, we chatted about that. That's crazy. Michael says players are a bunch of prima donnas and have turned on Unai and his team and want them out. Villain73 said the starters are not doing enough to be starters. Emery needs to be brave and make changes. Matt says, I think if we bring the ball backwards, at least try a long ball over the back four to try and find a forward. Yeah, there's so many times we could have played it down the channels today and we just didn't do it. We just dilly-dallied on it, tried to play it short and just ended up losing the ball. Rob says he's losing or lost the players and that is very difficult to turn around. He could indeed walk away if it is that bad now. Andrew said, I only doubt I have over Emery is the team selection. These players got Dean Smith and Gerrard the sack. Andy Brogan said it's 100% on Unai. 3 years, his team, his tactics, his methods, his decision. Unai out.
I wouldn't say Unai out.
Wow.
But I'm just concerned that he'll probably walk away. Like Spaniards are known for this. Spaniards are very good at this. If they don't get their way, I understand. Unai wanted to improve his team, try and strengthen it in different positions, but the rules that were in place just couldn't allow it to do it, and that's just frustration from fans, players, the staff on the board, Unai Emery in total. And when they don't kind of get what they want, Spaniards are kind of known for walking away from jobs. They're very good at it, albeit yes, they might not get their pay packages or whatever for being relieved of their duties, as we've all seen managers kind of get, but Spaniards are just very good at walking away. Lopetegui done it with West Ham. I know they say, he got the sack, but supposedly he walked away. You've seen Luis Enrique do it. You've seen Guardiola do it. There's just this common trend with them, and I just feel like
I don't like this, Mike. I don't like this generalization. It seems really unsafe.
But
look, I don't think he's going to get the sack. I wouldn't say that I'm Unai out.
I put this at the start of the season that I think he could. This is a massive season for him. If we don't, obviously due to some of the frustrations, I think he could walk. I do. I don't think he's out of the ordinary, out of the bounds of reality.
I'll tell you why I think it's less likely if I'm going on the other side of it, because you're right. He couldn't strengthen this summer, but he has also had 3 years to put together a team and recruit. And I know that we've had to sell, but we didn't have to sell the players that he brought in necessarily. Like if you look at the players that he brought in and sold, Diaby wasn't really great. Was a bit of a flop. Duran came in, he did really well. money for him was silly. Like anyone would have taken that. It is what it is. We've not really like been forced to clear out a lot of his signings, and like everyone keeps saying, what was it? 2 Gerrard signings, 2 Steve Bruce, and 6 Dean Smith signings. Like I think the reason he'd be less inclined to walk away, because if he leaves now, people aren't going to say, "Oh, Unai Emery wasn't backed." Unai Emery didn't have what he needed to do, because they'll look at his team sheets and say, "Well, he's had 5-6 transfer windows to put his own stamp on this team, and he's reverted to the players that he inherited." And I think Unai Emery is a very proud man. And I don't think we should jump on this bandwagon of, questioning his character or anything. Like, he's shown nothing but sort of like impeccable resilience to even join us when we were 17th in the league, and he'd been winning Europa Leagues consecutively the years before that. He was at Villarreal, who were in the semi-final of the Champions League when he came to us. Like, I don't think that the attacks on his character are fair. I think he's earned enough. Even if we're frustrated with the football, that I can understand. But I
don't think it's an attack on his character if he walks away. He just doesn't fancy, doesn't want to do it anymore.
I think it is questioning his integrity to say, "Oh, look, he's going to leave us in the shit," and then he's going to bugger off. So
Plenty of managers have done that.
Yeah,
plenty of players have done that.
He seems like a good egg to me. I'm still holding out like hope that he's looking at this. And I know he's frustrated and he left before the final whistle today. But I don't know. I'm hoping that he's looking at this and thinking, how do I turn it around? Because you've got to remember as well, the club is built in his
exactly
his infrastructure all over it. So he's that's there. But I do wonder about like some managers like Glasner, for example. He's out of contract with Palace at the end of the year. Like, I don't know if that's.
Well, he threatened to walk, didn't he? If they sold Gay, so
he's not even Spanish, Rich. Crazy.
Yeah.
Plenty of managers have done it, yeah, whether they're Spanish, English, or whatever. Steve Bruce done it enough times. Mark, what do you think of Emery's comments, though, about the Villa players being lazy? Like, I know it's true, because I was seeing it in the stands and I was shouting it myself, but I don't know, is that a good thing that he's saying stuff like that, or is that an indictment on how he's preparing them for the game?
Do you know what, Rich? I think it's the first time we've seen Unai publicly frustrated at the players. I mean, normally he's so calm and measured, and he will protect them. And he still will come out with things to say that we're improving when we know they haven't improved. And we just think, bloody hell, Unai, you're talking shit. Just talk honestly for a change. I think today he did. Whether that will help the players' confidence in the week, I don't know. Has he said it for a reason to really give them a kick up the arse? I don't know. I hope it works. But I still think fundamentally something isn't quite right, not just with Emery and the players. There's something not quite right with the whole setup of Villa Park at the moment. I can't put my finger on it, but I've just got that horrible gut feeling. And in fact, I think the owners, for the first time in months, especially this season, have been really, really quiet. You normally get a piece out of them. Every 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, you might see them on the pitch. We haven't seen any of that in the last few weeks, last few months. So that's a big concern for me. Even the players like Marlon that they signed in January, when he's not playing, we all keep saying he's not playing the players that they brought recently, and he keeps playing the Dean Smith side when he's bringing and introducing players of himself. So who is actually really recruiting these players? We don't know if it's Monchi. A lot of Villa fans are saying Monchi needs to sack, and what's he brought to Villa. But Unai surely is the gaffer. We've just said it's his backroom stuff. It's his DNA in there now. The owners went out and got him. He went out and got him, Suarez. So he knows that that's the man. And he said to Unai, right, there's Villa Park. It's all yours. So I think Unai has had a say, but I think I wouldn't say he's losing the plot, because that's unfair to Unai, and it's an exaggeration to a degree. But I said last time, it seems to me that he's running out of ideas quickly, and we still haven't seen this plan B yet. And to think, to call the players lazy when it's a lazy style of football anyway, I think it's a bit cheap for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't disagree. I mean, it was very lazy in terms of the way that we defended their goal. So I can certainly agree to that point. But yeah, in the way that they're playing and the comments that he made for Elliott, if that's true, like he's saying that he's playing the ball too quickly, then that seems like a conflict of it just feels confusing, because you, on one hand, you're saying the player's very lazy, but on the other hand, you're saying that they shouldn't be passing the ball quickly. Well, we could see it in the stand. We're asking the players to play quickly. We're asking them to start running with the ball forwards into space. We're asking them to start taking responsibility, but none of them are doing it. So what are we doing? Where are we here? Like, I don't understand it, because every team we're playing against at the moment, we're just easy to play against. We're just so easy to defend. I didn't see any last-ditch defending from Sunderland. I didn't see the keeper having to scramble it or anything. I didn't see the keeper having to make an amazing save. And now they've got 10 men, for Christ's sake. Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, their centre-back today was absolutely awesome, wasn't he? He got man of the match, and really so. We've not. I mean, again, the stats in the first half. How many balls did we put in their box? None. That's even more frightening.
Yeah,
that's frightening. It is frightening. When fans say there's nothing wrong, we've got to keep behind Unai. Yes, we have. But when they say there's nothing wrong and this is the system, this is your nice system we've been playing now for 3 seasons, well, we haven't, because the first season he arrived, all season, we were playing this fast-flowing football. We had Diaby, we had Bailey, we had Ramsey on the left, and it was just quick passing, moving, triangles, overlaps. We were scoring goals for fun, 70-odd goals, I think 101 goals in that 23-24 season. 101 goals. And now we can't score. Well, we scored 1 today. Our first one in the league. It's frightening times. It is really frightening times.
Sam, can we keep the receipt? Have we still got the receipt on for Evan Gesson?
Is he any worse than anyone else? I don't know. He doesn't seem to have sort of like complete control over his legs, which is strange. Which is really like a really key component for being a footballer, is to like have stability in your feet, right? It's kind of, but I don't think he was the worst player on the pitch by a country mile, for being honest. Like the first half,
he was terrible, mate. He was terrible. That wasn't the game, man. It was terrible. Buendia was terrible. When the Villa fans going to realise that Emery Buendia is not good enough?
All right.
He's crap.
All right, let's say they were both 3 out of 10s, right?
Rogers was a 1.
Who do you have higher than that? Because I don't think Gassan was any worse. I don't think he was any worse than McGinn. I think McGinn had an.
McGinn was poor. Yeah.
Watkins poor.
2.
Non-existent. At least we saw Gassan. I didn't even know Luca Dean was playing. Bogart, when he came on, shit. Who else was? I don't even know who else was playing. Like none of these players.
Marlon as well. I know Villa fans want him to do well, but he's rubbish. The guy is rubbish. He's rubbish.
But the thing is, I've said this about Gassan since he joined. He's not a winger. I'm sorry, he's not.
Some of these players, I might be sounding like some of the Villa players. They're thinking, we've sold Bailey, we've sold Ramsey, we've bought in this shite. They're absolute crap.
No, the thing is that you're right. They're all shite. Like, I can't even argue with it. But I don't like. I know that you like to kind of jump on Buendia the same way I do with Watkins. He's my fall guy. Emery Buendia is yours, and Emery's clearly Mark's. But I like.
Yeah, but at least Watkins has got some credit in the bank in goals. Buendia, we keep saying, he's had a good pre-season. He's going to be brilliant. He runs around. He's rubbish.
Yeah, but we've played games this season where he's like, we played 5 games this season. In 2 or 3 of them, he's looked like the best player by a country mile. And we've said this before. And look, I'm not saying he's a be-all and end-all. We were saying before that the reason that he looks so good is because he's the only one who's actually putting in energy. And I know that you think, a player running around obviously does not a player make. But right now, when there's nothing else going on, the sight of someone actually running and chasing down a ball, it makes them the best player on Villa's team, because we've got nothing else. So I'm with you. Look, but Buendia's not a long-term option. Gassan is definitely not a long-term option on the wing. I'd like to see him up front. But the problem is, we talk about, everyone's talking about pressure to pressure to the starting players and rotation. But our squad depth is shite as well. We don't really have anything. You've got Sancho, Harvey Elliott, Marlon, right? Those are the other players that can come on. Sancho and Elliott, fine. Marlon's shite. Oh my god! Against Brentford, bloody hell! In the League Cup, is it? They're all like there's no like really good alternatives on the bench. Like Tielemans gone now. Our midfield looks absolutely lost. Like even with Kamara back, for me, Kamara looks really good when he's playing next to like a creative midfielder. But like watching him today, fine, yeah, safe defensively, does absolutely nothing to contribute to the attack. He's just safe. He's Emery ball right now epitomized. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
He just plays the ball off, stays deep, and it's just like I get what you're saying, Rich. Like when Deer and Gassan have had stinkers of the day, but everyone was shy, and I don't think they were any. I don't think, although you can mention how crap they were, I don't think it's like right to hide.
I think it's more to do with what they're in the team to do. So those three that start the game are there to create, are there to make chances, are there to ultimately score us goals, and they're just every time Buendia got it, he was pushed off the ball too easily. Every time the ball, Morgan Rogers didn't touch the ball for the first 20 minutes.
No,
he didn't even look like he was trying to get into a space to receive the ball. And then if he made a little run, he'd throw his hands up and then turn around instead of just trying to look busy. There was no rotation of positions, and as you say, Gesson doesn't even look like he knows where his legs are going to go, let alone control the football. So then, obviously, that's why fair enough. I've already said that Konsa and Mings held onto the ball for way too long, and as you said, like McGinn and Kamara in that midfield are too safe, not trying to get the ball in dangerous positions to try and turn. So I can understand that, but it's those three creative forces. They're meant to be the ones to drive us through. They're meant to be the ones to put pressure on the defenders. And yeah, fair enough, when Sancho and Elliott came on, they were a bit more bright. They tried to get on the ball, and you could see them looking to see where the players were going to run to, and no one was doing it. As you said, not even Marlon when he came on. Watkins, I didn't see him make a single run. Not a single run, even to like pull the defender in and then drop it spinning behind. I didn't see him do any of that at all. It's so, like, again, I'm going to say lazy, but you're looking at the players individually, and then you've got to look at the manager. Like, what is he doing? Martin, I don't know.
I think very quickly, what's so ironic as well is our XG was 0.79, which was lower than Sunderland's, by the way, despite them having 10 men for most of the game. But the only good chance we really did create was a pass into Gassan, which I thought was quite funny, considering what you just said.
Yeah.
What
do you boys think, Martin?
I'm just kind of ask the question out there to a lot of you, which I've kind of said before, and we hear that maybe Unai should go back to this 4-4-2, 4-2-2 formation, because this was the bread and butter for the players that we have. Because I think with the 4-2-3-1, we look very static. Players are trying to look for options when, it's not really there. It's too predictable for the defensive midfielder on the other side to pick out the 10, to try and fullbacks to pick out the wingers that we have who aren't really wingers, to trying to tuck in centrally because that's where they want them to play. And for us, I think if we go back to this 4-4-2, 4-2-2, that brought us up the table so much, that got us these European footballs, in my opinion. And when we almost went to a 4-2-3-1, when Rashford and Asensio came in, yeah, we were doing well. But because we had them different options and dynamics in attack, because we can go one way with Asensio and Rashford, or we could go another way here with Tielemans and McGinn. We had these options that we can go. But with this 4-2-3-1 now at the minute, there doesn't seem to be anyone taking the game by the scruff of the neck to say, right, give the ball to me, I'm going to make this try and tick and see where this goes. Where I just think if we kind of go back to this 4-4-2 with the players that we have and play counter-attacking football as opposed to being a possession-based team, because clearly we're not doing anything with our possession. If we're going to have 70% possession in each and every game and do nothing with it, you're just wasting everyone's time, in my opinion, because you need to be able to have good ball retention. And what I mean by ball retention is, yeah, you might not have much of the ball, but when you do have possession, you're dangerous with it, you're direct with it, you're getting into dangerous positions straight away, like a Sunderland did. 29% possession today, but when they did have the ball, it was 2-3 passes straight away attacking us. And that's what we used to do. Tuck in, let the opposition come to us, because we had real quality in like a Tielemans getting that ball in between the lines straight into a Morgan Rogers, bang. All of a sudden we're 4v2, 4v3. This is what we're good at. This is what the players are. This is what the system is for me. And since we've kind of gone away from that, we almost look predictable. We look static. We don't look like that Aston Villa of all, yeah, let's tuck in, do whatever. It's none of that anymore. It's now we're trying to play possession and we're not doing anything with it. We're not putting balls in behind for Watkins, and this case of being given out to Elliott for trying to put balls in behind. It's not. It's like, why? Like, you want to get yourself into dangerous positions. You want to put your wingers into great areas to put that ball into the box for Ollie Watkins. And I just think that if we go back to the basics of what we had before, do this, play this way. We're sitting 18th now in the league. Unai Emery came to us 17th in the league, only one place above. Go back to what it was, get that going again, and see where it takes us. And I just think we could then damage teams, win games that way. And I just think that would get us up the table a bit more. But
we can't play like that, Martin. Martin, we can't play like that because teams have figured us out. And just watch any game from this season. And
I understand teams have figured us out now, but they're only figured us out now, Sam, because we play too much possession. And because we've got so much possession of the ball, they're going to sit back. But if we do the sitting, teams are going to go, right, what are they going to do then? Because if they're just sitting back, who have they got here? Who have they got there? You've changed it completely. Where if we have so much possession, we're too predictable. And you're right, we can't play like the team, like going into counter-attack and whatever, because teams might catch on to it then. But if we constantly change it, these players should be able to do that. This is what Unai Emery is, but he's sticking to one thing, and it's stubbornness, and it's too predictable.
Yeah, but Martin, the reason that it doesn't work is because now teams know, all right, look, we don't need to commit great numbers forward to score against Villa. Doesn't matter how many players they have back. And we saw this today. Sunderland had 3-4 players. We've seen it against Brentford. We saw it against Bournemouth. We've seen it loads of times this season against Palace. They don't need to commit massive numbers to break us down because defensively we're not very solid. So, and they also know, well, look, if we only commit 3 or 4 people up top and keep everyone back there, Villa can't break us down. Villa don't have the creativity. They can have the ball all day going around the box, but they do not have that killer pass through. So you watch any team that sets up against Villa at the moment is they reserve most of their team for defense, and they have 3 or 4 quick attackers breaking the lines, and that's it. And this is it doesn't. So if we then change to counter-attacking football, you're not going to get teams who are breaking forward. We're not hitting them on the counter when they've only got 3-4 players back there. Like, look at it today, and this is a perfect example. When we hold the ball with Konsa and Mings, as we do all the time, does anyone ever see the opposition team come out and charge us down and try and win the ball back? They never do it because they're like, just let them have the ball. It doesn't matter. They can have 70% of the ball. We'll get it back, and then we'll break with the 3-4 players. So that's why what you're saying, I don't think it would work, because it doesn't matter how much we have the ball at the back. We don't draw teams out because they know there's no reason to commit.
Yeah, do you know what else annoys me? We have a corner. The ball comes out. We actually win the second ball, and instead of carrying on the attack, we go back to the goalkeeper and we let the other team set up and get the defensive shape, and then we just end up hitting it long enough again. Like, why would you not just put it in the box and cause a bit of chaos? They keep saying that these long throw-ins now are there to cause chaos in the box. Well, we're certainly not doing it because we're just giving it back to our goalkeeper. Like, it's almost like anti-football. It's almost like we don't want to score a goal. And then you've got Austin McPhee waving his hands around and that. I mean, what the hell is he paid to do? Complete waste of time, that guy.
We don't want to lose the ball more than we want to score. That's the thing. We want to make sure that... And those players, they want to be the ones not to make the mistake more than they want to be the ones to win the game.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like right now.
That's it. Facts. I just want to finish up. I've got a super chat to read out from Sharik, and I will get a couple more comments in. So I'll get a few comments, and then I'll ask the last question for the night. Sharik said, "I told you Watkins can't finish a packet of crisps." And he also talks about Emery saying Harvey Elliott was passing too quickly. Absolutely blows his mind. With the slowest, tepid side in the league. Joey Cusack says, "Awful squad planning." LG says, "Calling it now. Guess on gets sold to Saudi next summer." Ant says, "No future planning, no plan B, and lost the dressing room." Michael says, "We give the opposition too much time to settle and rest." Ross says the transfers have been awful. Matt says we look slow and out of ideas. Was the season we went down sideways and backwards passing? It killed us. And just in relation to the way that we play. Sorry?
I just said the Paul Lambert days.
Yeah. No, Mark. Lewis said we had wingers then, Martin. It won't work now, and no pace out wide or up top for that formation at the minute, which is a difficult one. I did have a comment that I just wanted to close out on, because I talked about this. Yeah, we know we've had 5 games now. We've got 3 points. We've played Newcastle, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton, and now Sunderland. We've next got Fulham and Burnley. So we haven't played anyone like Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. And Spain says, look at your next set of Premier League fixtures. Yikes. Now, I haven't looked beyond Burnley. But I'll come to you first, Mark. What? I mean, Villa fans were rubbing their hands together with the start of the season, saying we're going to get 15 points, 17 points, 18 points even. We're going to be challenging for Europe. We got 3 points from 5 games. The maximum we can get is 9 points from the first 7 games. And then we're obviously going to be facing the likes of Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal. I mean, are you worried? Can you see us getting good results against these teams? Are you scared about facing these teams? Like, what do you think? Because we haven't come across anyone like really good yet. What are we going to face when that comes?
Isn't that the worry? We haven't. I mean, Newcastle battered us, to be fair, and they should have beaten us 4-5-0 that day if they took the chances. Everton were okay. Beto should have scored maybe a couple. But other than that, we've not really, we do off analysis ratings at the end. And I don't think Martinez has really had much to deal with so far this season, really, in goal. So our goal's not been peppered.
I think he's frozen.
Hang on.
You back?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah. So our goals have been peppered. Maybe our box is being peppered, but if it wasn't for the fact that we've been playing teams where they've struggled to score against us, we'd be sitting with Wolves now on 0 points. We really would. Just going back to Sam's point and Martin's, I mean, I've been going back the last 3 seasons when Unai first came to us, and I keep harping on about it. And we've not seen exciting football down at Villa Park for a long, long time. Martin O'Neill's days, we had James Milner and Downing, down the wings, and they were causing havoc, and that was fast, free-flowing football. Maybe Ron Atkinson days as well. We had Dean Saunders and Dalen Atkinson, and and when Unai came and he steadied the ship. And all of a sudden, we're watching the football, me and my boys, and we're going, oh, my God, this is the kind of football we've been missing down at Villa Park for years. Because it's always been stale. We've had no identity. All of a sudden, Unai's come along, and obviously we've got this identity of football. And all the pundits now, and all the neutrals, and I've got mates of mine who are, other fans, and they're going, Villa's my second team now, because they're playing some fantastic football. And they were. And yes, they were playing out from the back. But like Martin said, we were playing out from the back more quickly. So we were hitting the transitions lines more quickly, breaking lines more quickly. To be fair, when Torres came, he was pretty decent, and he was actually helping break those lines. Some good passes, long ball passes. And that was the fast, free-flowing football that we come to see. And I say I watched the highlights of 23-24, and if you watch the majority of the goals, they're not from what we're doing now, and probably I think from the last season a bit, where he's got this slow build up of football, keep possession, all of a sudden sprint, there's a tempo, right, there's a bit of space, bang, back of the net. It was the fast flowing football, was catching teams out, and defenders hate pace. They'll tell you that. They hate defending against pace. And at the moment, we're not playing with any pace. And you see other teams like Sunderland today, as soon as they attack, have you seen how quick they attack? when Villa seem to attack, we seem to find space. And all of a sudden they're going, oh, shit, what do we do now? And it seems that way. They're like headless chickens. And Digne couldn't get forward much today. In the last game, he found loads of space against Everton, traps the ball and goes, shit, where are my players? And Ollie Watkins again. I mean, I do you know what? I do love Ollie. However, I did think today he leaves himself too isolated now. Doesn't hold the play up very well. Yes, he doesn't get the service, but sometimes the biggest senior strikers in other teams don't get service. All of a sudden, they hold the ball up, and it could be once in 10 minutes, and all of a sudden, bang, they've probably scored. So I just wish Unai would just look at that 23-24 season when he first arrived, and we were playing that fast, attacking, controlled, measured football. And I don't know when it all started. Did it all start when we qualified for the Champions League? Did he then think we now need a squad of players, and if we play that kind of football every week, we're going to be knackered? So we need to slow it down. We need a different style, different tempo. I don't know, but it just seems coincidentally that that's when it started, when we qualified for the Champions League. And we did have some good games in that Champions League, and it was a great journey. But again, there were some games that were masking some of the problems that we're now facing right now, if I'm honest.
Yeah. CC says she absolutely agrees, Mark. Once Emery changed the style to a more control, it's slow, we've become one-dimensional. Mark is spot on, says Matt. We was brilliant the season we finished fourth. And yeah, it does feel like, I think Sam said this a few weeks ago when we lost, I think it was against Brentford. He said like it kind of it hurts a bit more because you feel where the players were, and it feels like they're on that plateau and they're on that sort of slope down, and that's what feels so disappointing at the moment. It feels so frustrating. Martin, what do you think? How do you feel about the games coming up? You know, like when we do come against the bigger teams, how are we going to turn this around, or do you think we can? Like, are you scared to face against these teams?
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth right now. When you look at the first 5 games,
we got a Blues fan in.
Forget about him. He's probably an Evertonian. But I just think when you look at the first 5 games, I would have said excellent. No one in the top 6, no one in that European hunt apart from Newcastle, you would say. And you were probably saying, lovely. Few points on the board. Palace a slippery slope, as it always would have been. But you would have said, in my opinion, between 12 to 13 points. And I would have taken that because realistically, you're not going to win every single game. Yes, you'd be nice to. But when you have Crystal Palace, who's your bogey team, when you have Newcastle, where it's going to be either or, we smash them, they smash us, that's just the way that kind of game goes. But you look at the rest and go, wait, we should be beating in Everton, regardless whether they have the new stadium, new atmosphere. We should be beating Everton. When you look at player per player in that squad, you should be beating the Sunderland. Yes, stadium light's going to be hopping, but again, you should be looking at player to player. They're coming up from the Championship. You know, there's a different bounce of quality going from the Championship up to the Premier League. We've seen it in the last 2 seasons with 3 teams coming up, and they're gone down straight away. And then you look at, we lose to Brentford. In my opinion, I would have put down that they would be in trouble at the start of the season with losing their best players. They lost their manager. And you're just looking at this going, absolutely happy days. You could not have asked for a better set of fixtures at the start of the season if you tried. But unfortunately now, it looks like we got the worst set of fixtures, and then we have the battlefield to come up, and it's scary, it's frightening. Now, it would be typical Villa and typical of these players to turn up with the big boys and maybe pick up results here or there. It would be the most typical thing in the world to do. We've seen it with football. We've seen the likes of, the Man United and Liverpool's when they've been absolutely crap. They do dirt against the smaller teams, but when they come up against the big boys, they put it in and get great performances, great wins. It would be kind of a typical Villa thing to do now. But that being said, I would have no confidence going in against the big boys.
Yeah, I'm worried. Sam, final words to you, mate.
Oh, as always. Yeah, I don't know. we've got Liverpool, Man City, Spurs coming up. I think this is where I'm getting really down is I don't see how this is going to change. I haven't seen any marked improvement. But I think what's more frustrating for me is I can't understand why it's happening. Like I can't identify what's happened, what's changed, and why certain players, have lost the ability to pass the ball 5 yards. Like everything else that you can talk about, and the transfers and PSR and this and that, like, or even just general disinterest in playing for the club. You should still be able to pass the ball 5 yards, and it's like I can pass the ball 5 yards, and I'm old and not a professional footballer, and it's just I think that's where I'm concerned. Obviously, it looks like Emery was annoyed today, and in a weird way, it actually made me feel quite relieved to see him like that. In my mind, he was going to take him into the dressing room and just like start smashing heads against lockers and just telling them how unacceptable it is and how annoyed he is. And I actually wasn't upset by that. I was happy. I was like, oh look, he's pissed off, and that's what you need, because worse than some an emotional angry manager is apathy. Someone who's like, remember Steve Bruce came out and said, more or less, we're there. We'll be there or thereabouts. Yeah. But the thing is, Emery's got his own there or thereabouts. So he says that more or less, doesn't he? He's like, more or less, we're doing what we want to do. Well, you're not really, are you? But then he came out after the game and said, obviously Harvey Elliott's passing the ball too quickly, and someone had a shot and he wasn't happy with that because we should have just played it back to the keeper or something. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what's going on. I think there's going to be a stubbornness in the tactics, and I have faith in Emery, but I don't have faith in the way that he's trying to play. I don't like it, and if it was up to me, I'd like to see a change in our tactics, in our structure, like Martin said, like Mark said. Like everyone else is saying, it would be nice to have a proper plan B, and start taking some risks, because look, we might as well have lost for the 5 games that we've played. Like I know that we've got 3 draws and 2 losses, and that kind of feels like, oh well, we've only lost 2 games this season. But in reality, we could have just had 1 win and lost the other 4, and we'd be in the same position pretty much.
Exactly.
So it's like, if you're gonna not get any points anyway, just give it a go. Like, send on your best players, send on your attacking players, let them play, give them a bit of freedom. They all seem so shackled at the moment. They feel like they're running with weights on their feet. And it's just, I think it's just time to, and I hope the international break was going to be the period where everyone just kind of like reflect and say, do you know what, actually? And some people went away and had amazing, Matty Cash had a really great international break. Yuri Tielemans became captain of his international team. Morgan Rogers had a standout performance for England. You think, all right, that's it. They've got their confidence back. They've gone and played with maybe some better quality players, and it's going to spur them on to keep going. And everyone just comes back, and it's like, it's like going on holiday with the boys and then coming back to your 9 to 5, and everyone's like, oh, fucking hell,
I thought you were going to say like going on holiday with the boys and coming home to your wife.
My wife watches every now and then. I'm like,
that's what I'll be like. Oh.
Yeah, but this is.
I'm in my girlfriend's house. I'm zipping it.
Yeah. Well, it's and that's the thing. I think it's just it looks pretty dire, and everyone's got a different theory about what's gone wrong, and everyone's got a different theory about what needs to change. And I'll be quite honest and say, like, I can't see where the solution is coming from, and I don't know how to fix it. All I want to see is a bit of energy, a bit of intent in the players and in the play. Like, I want to, even if we lose, I want to watch that game and say, do you know what? They gave it a go. They really tried. If it's a lack of quality, it's a lack of quality. If it's this, it's that. But no energy and like no desire to win the game, I can't abide by it, man. I can't watch a game like that and then leave happy. And if I'm being honest, I'm quite sick of them ruining my weekends, and we're only in September, so
yeah. Well, boys, thank you very much. We have 3 big games to come, or 4 big games to come. We've got Bologna in the Europa League. We've got Fulham in the Premier League. Then we've got Feyenoord away in the Europa League, and then Burnley at home in the Premier League. So the games are coming thick and fast, and we need to turn it around. Kev, with the final comment I'm going to read, says, keep the bloody faith up the Villa. It is pretty difficult to keep the faith at the moment, but we will certainly try. Martin, Sam, Mark, thank you very, very much. Thank you, everyone in the chat. We have almost 400 watching, which is amazing stuff on a Sunday night. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, help us on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching, and as always, remember, we all follow the Villa.
Up the Villa.